Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to talk about the Femme Fatale archetype and how I actually just did. I've done a little bit of research on this archetype and the idea or the original definition of the Femme Fatale and where that term came from and how it's kind of evolved. And it's perfect for what I want to talk about today, which is we're going to address manipulation, games, and all these things that we see in this modern day world with dating and texting and phone communication, all the things. So when you think of what most people think of when we think of a femme fatale woman, this archetype is this slightly negative connotation related to this woman who destroys and is manipulative through seduction and her sexuality and her beauty and all these things, but she uses that kind of for bad and for evil. And then there's just kind of been a resurgence recently with like the dark feminine movement and learning, like dark feminine energy and all this stuff. And I actually think it's been really important because a lot of like the divine feminine goddess stuff that was out there in the new age world is a lot of the light feminine side of things. So what I found both personally and with clients is that, and a lot of my work was also very much like light feminine, meaning a lot of about the heart, a lot of openness and love, compassion, kindness, all these beautiful feminine energies. But these terms, light feminine and dark feminine, without learning how to contain your energy and know how to protect your heart, not from a place of fear, but a place of self-respect, honoring yourself with dignity and learning how to trust, and really be discerning about who you give access to in your life. That is something that kind of more like the dark feminine, this resurgence of that kind of, I don't know if there was a resurgence, but it's this term that is all over, social media these days. And I really want to talk about just like integrity with these terms, light feminine, dark feminine, and this archetype of the femme fatale, and how we can work with the archetype in a way that's actually really, I think, beautiful and helpful, and can bring some clarity to like how to be as a woman. Okay. So, I'll read this to you. Good old ChatGPT definition. So the original meaning, femme, woman, fatale, deadly, or fateful, a woman of fate whose presence determines the destiny of those who encounter her. Okay, it's a little bit dramatic, but the original cultural meaning in classic and mythic contexts, long before the 19th century, the femme fatale archetype was not evil. She was an embodiment of power that men could not control. Think of, women whose beauty or spiritual intensity revealed the truth of men's hearts and tested their strength. In this sense, she wasn't bad. She was a revealer of weakness. Her fatality lay in how she exposed illusions, forcing transformation or collapse. In the 19th, 20th century, there was a shift. During Romanticism, the later femme fatale archetype turned into a warning against female autonomy and sexuality. And she was depicted as dangerous, manipulative, supernatural, kind of like the dark goddess archetypes, more destructive and manipulation, basically. She represented the feminine that could not be possessed or dominated, which we'll talk about that. Okay. But in the truest sense, the femme fatale is not a destroyer, but a revealer. Her presence brings men to a crossroads. Either they rise in virtue and self-mastery, or they crumble under their passions and pride. Okay, so she is fatal, not because she intends harm, but because truth is fatal to illusion. that's what I want to talk about, and I'm obsessed with it. It's really a beautiful thing to go into, especially in this time where we see so much manipulation in our world, in the dating like context and social media and all of it. So I wrote a post recently on my Instagram that was saying, like, the femme fatale she's known to destroy, and she does, but not the way we think. What she destroys is anything that she destroys what is keeping a man from becoming a man. And this doesn't happen through seduction or manipulation or consensuality, but really it comes from a deep level of integrity with herself. Not to try to get an outcome, but truly, just like it said, when we're integrous with truth, anything that's not that cannot, it's like if truth and if I don't know how to explain this. Basically, in the presence of truth, what's not true will be revealed. It's like if something's in the dark and finally light is shined on it, it can't hide anymore. So in this way, the archetype of the femme fatale, when we embrace this important presence as women, which is basically not dropping integrity with the self and with what you require to have access to you. Ideally, like literally not having sex before marriage is one of them, not tolerating, I don't want to go into the details, but there's I'm saying that to kind of like shock people, because at this point, when we think of someone who waits to have sex before marriage, we immediately think that they're only religious. Like that's the only people that will ever wait to have sex before marriage. It's been so incredibly normalized for sex to be casual and for it to be given freely, and long-term relationships where you're someone's girlfriend for an extended period of time, that's normalized. Basically, we've slowly been cooked to like the crab, not realizing what's actually like when the crab's put in the water and it's cold and then it slowly heats up. That's what's happened to our subconscious and our conscious mind, the programming that we've been ingesting for many generations at this point, that has absolutely distorted what women should be receiving and experiencing in relationship and what men should be providing. So it's fallen apart, and most likely you have had a personal experience that directly links to that breakdown. And on one hand, I'm grateful for the things in my life that have, I'm not grateful like I would wish to have. I wish I just didn't have to have gone through those experiences. But I'm grateful for this process of going through hard things that ultimately forced transformation, transfiguration, and taught me a lot. But more than anything, what I'm grateful for is to now be able to see clearly the things that are messed up in this culture and society that we live in. So let's talk specifically about manipulation and some of the dark feminine programming that's out there on social media these days. And it's on both sides. There's stuff that tell, men are learning how to seduce women and manipulate women, and then women do the same to men. And at the end of the day, this is what I want to talk about in this video. What I found is that games will confuse you more than anything. Because at the end of the day, let's say you're texting someone, or you're in a relationship. Oh, my computer is gonna die. So let me just get my charger really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, well, I can't find my charger, so we'll see how long this lasts. If this is already resonating with you, I'm going to do training on Tuesday, going live, a live training on Tuesday, and it's called How to Become a Woman Who Men Become Kings For. And we're going to talk about this more in depth. I will go on more social media. You can follow me on Instagram at Elevated Woman Training and at Divine Feminine Frequencies of 2. And I'll post a video on there if this cuts out. But what I will say, I feel like I said a lot already. But what I'll say about manipulation and strategy and all those things is, at the end of the day, when you implement games, you really never know what the outcome, if the outcome that you're experiencing is real or not. You have had to edit yourself to create and keep the relationship that you're in. And it's the most destabilizing thing, and it breaks down your magnetism and inner balance, because you're not yourself. You're in your head, you're strategizing, and it's not authentic and it's not congruent. And so when things are not congruent, it's the opposite of magnetism. It doesn't, whatever you're attracting, even if it's working, is not a reflection that matches. It's not coherent. It's not aligned. It's not authentic. So, manipulation is not aligned, period. It breaks integrity with self. And then you don't have trust with yourself. And self-trust is one of the most important parts of becoming an aligned, sophisticated, elegant, highly respected, self-respecting, magnetic, beautiful woman. You have to feel good about the person that you're choosing to be. So you have to ask yourself if manipulating and strategizing actually lines up with the values that you want to embody and hold as a woman, or if it doesn't. So what is more helpful to work on is a few things. If you work on personal values, you work on self-respect and dignity, also work on codependency, which is basically outsourcing your peace to someone else's behavior. If you work on those two things, you really will be set, because naturally, when we have self-respect, let's say someone pulls away, your instinct to that is not going to be to chase them down and try to have them explain everything. Your instinct to that is to just simply respond as like a friend would if they pulled away. You don't freak out as much. You let people be people. And that's kind of like working on the codependency part of things. So when you are in alignment, deeply aligned, the strategies that you see out there, like, if a man pulls away, let him, kind of thing, or kind of like be hard to get. All these things, actually, in a way, they're true, but they're not true when we manipulate our way. They're not true when they're strategic. They're true when they're authentic, when you naturally let people be and you let the man in your life do what he does for a few days if he pulls, you know what I mean? It's like when you are actually in alignment, those behaviors are a natural instinct to let people be, to trust them, to let things play out, because your stability, strength, composure is not based in that person. It's deeply rooted in yourself, in integrity. Okay. So I think I'm kind of hitting everything. I'm just doing it really quickly. So here's a few examples. So like being hard to get is a real phenomenon that, like, the femme fatale, I call her like the elite femme fatale, is naturally hard to get, but she's not hard to get because she's pretending to be busy, or she's forcing herself to have a life when she's really an introvert. She's hard to get because she lives by deep alignment and integrity and is unwilling to budge from that. She requires order and alignment in the man that comes into her life. That's not going to be very many men. That's like that good definition of the femme fatale. She will expose what's not ordered because she's committed to order and integrity and alignment in herself. We do this from a place of deep humility, not like I know all that. I'm Orthodox Christian, so that's kind of like my structure in which I work through purification and theosis, and it's a whole thing that I'm just starting to talk about it more because I feel like I can't teach without bringing my reality into the picture. But after probably like 15 years of deep spiritual journeying, I ended up finding Eastern Orthodox Christianity, and it's the most congruent system that I've ever found. So that's where I'm at. But my point is that's been my way to find integrity, to work toward purity, to work toward deep alignment with God and his design for us. And we are far from that divine design, that order, that integrity. So, but what I'm personally realizing is it's when we are, how do I say this? Yeah. So we'll go, I know it's kind of all over the place because I have that 2% battery. So I'm going to end now, but we're going to go deeper into this in the training, how to become a woman men become kings for. It's not how to attract a woman or how to be a woman that kings are. It's not that. It's actually recognizing that there is a role that women are here to play to correct this world. When we stop giving access to ourselves the way we've been giving access, it causes one reaction for sure, and that is there has to be an up-leveling in the masculine. There has to be an up-leveling in man, and that's like the good elite femme fatale archetype is that's her role. So she is here to, through her own personal order and alignment, commitment to God and like his ordering of her. I can't talk about it deeply, but anyway, her commitment to alignment requires that any man that comes into her life is also aligned. And so you put into words what's in my heart and what's going on in my mind. Well, I'm grateful to hear that because I feel like my words are all over the place, but I'm going to trust that they came through more clearly than I think. I just woke up and it's 3:22 here in the Netherlands. Oh my gosh, so cool. You woke my spirit up to catch this live. Oh, I'm so thankful for your wisdom and have been a loyal spirit sister for years. Thank you so much, Leslie. You have a crown next to your name, so that's really sweet. So thank you for being here live and on the replay. If you're not following me already, would love to have you subscribe. I'm coming back out into the world with fully kind of rebranded content, brand, and everything. And so just relaunching and have some really clear things that I want to talk about that we'll be dropping into in the next who knows how long. But hopefully you enjoyed this, and make sure to click the link in the description if you want to join the training. It's on sale through Tuesday, so you can sign up for 50% off until then. All right, sending so much love. Bye-bye.